Hello, everyone, and this is week 2 that we are starting in the JuvaFit Challenge with the Hot to Trot, Team Hot to Trot. We were able to get our name changed, so you will see us on the leaderboard as Hot to Trot. A couple of quick announcements. One is that if you haven't checked in for week number 1, please make sure that you get checked in for week 1. And it counts for team points. So even if you did a little bit or a lot, it still counts. And I would love to see our team recognized at the end of this challenge. The other thing is make sure that you notice that the new move of the week is a squat curtsy. So you're going to do a squat with your legs far apart, and then you're going to stand up, and then you're going to curtsy with one leg, and then you're going to do a squat, and then you're going to curtsy to the other side. So if you have any questions, go to the JuvaFit Challenge Facebook group page and check it out. But that is a very challenging move of the week. It's good for balance, and it's good for strength in the quads, and also good for abdominal core building up. So that's a good move of the week. Also, every week, if you record yourself doing the move of the week, you're eligible for free products. So if you like free, I would encourage you to videotape yourself or have someone videotape you and enter. You have nothing to lose but just going out there and putting yourself out there. Last night, JuvaFit commit call, they talked about hydration and the importance of water and hydration. I find it interesting that they do these live videos from altitude, and people who don't know about altitude, you lose a teaspoon of water every time you breathe, every time you exhale. So it's very interesting. But now that it's warmer months where all of us live, we want to make sure that maybe we hydrate a little more than normal. So if your normal is 64 ounces, you might want to up it to 80 ounces, because you don't want to become dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, your cells don't function at their optimal way in order to help you release weight or whatever you're trying to do for yourself. So yes, good job. This week I also wanted to discuss, which I discuss on every JuvaFit challenge, the Bristol stool chart. People think it's a disgusting thing to talk about, but I will tell you, especially during the summer months when you're traveling, if you want to know how your body is responding to what you're feeding it, check your poops out. Because if they're hard or you're having a hard time passing, you probably don't have enough fat, and you probably might even be a little bit dehydrated. So check your poops. They want to be long and skinny like a snake and very smooth. And then you know you've got the proper balance of macros. So it's a good way, if you're not able to track because you're remote or whatever, it's a good way to kind of keep yourself on track by just inspecting, making sure that you're having 1 or 2 movements a day, and it's just very good for you. So any questions so far?
Nope.
So I want to take a moment to talk about 2 different things. One is how do I say this? How do you think hydration will be important to you in the next 8 weeks? Michelle?
Hydration helps my muscle soreness. It helps my blood pressure, and it helps my weight loss goals to help to feel satiated.
Perfect. How about you, Lori?
Basically the same thing. I think my body functions just better being hydrated. I
I
can tell
agree.
the difference in my skin and my eyes and just overall health.
I would agree with everything you guys said. I particularly know, because I've been really keeping close watch on my blood pressure the last few weeks, And the more I hydrate, the more balanced my blood pressure is. So if you feel your blood pressure spiking, or if you're tracking it and you notice that your blood pressure is spiking, probably you might be a little bit dehydrated. And the all water drop with the electrolytes will help to balance the dehydration. So make sure that not only you're getting hydrated, but that you have the right amount of electrolytes in your body in order to process everything. I thought that was a really big deal that they were talking about the electrolyte balancing last night on the call. Um, Last week we discussed our word and why it was important. And I want to know if you circled back to your word last weekend, because we started the challenge off and then dumpster dove into a holiday weekend, which is always difficult because there's more people going out, there's more people getting together with other people, there's more celebrations. So maybe you partook of alcoholic beverages, adult beverages, maybe more than you should have. So Lori, tell me what your word is and how it helped you to stay focused throughout the holiday weekend.
Well, my first word last challenge was focus. And so I added to focus intentional. And between the two, it helped because everything I do, I want to have a certain end result. And so I did these stupid little silly moves throughout the day, and they're targeted to my hips and my stomach. So, yeah, it helped me just to stay focused and have an intentional result at the end of this challenge.
Awesome. Michelle, how about you?
My word for this challenge is persistent. And persistent helps me because I might try something new, like adding more protein or adding more fiber, and it may or may not help with my weight loss and my strength, but I can keep trying, right? Get back at it. So persistence is my word this challenge.
My word was hot. Hot to trot, hot stuff. Look at my hot Aunt Momo at the wedding. Look how amazing she looks. You know, I do get very often that people never guess that I'm as old as I am, and I want to keep that trend going. But I also think it's due to making good food choices for myself and keeping my focus on what my intent is. And so the other reason for the word hot is I'm hoping that I'll have a hot drop in weight this time. So I'm really trying to keep my calorie count on par so that it's below the 1900. I don't know if you guys had a chance to do the Mayo Clinic thing last week, but that's to maintain the weight that you're at. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. So whatever weight and height you're at, the Mayo Clinic calculated that if you ate this many calories a day, that you would maintain your weight. So if you want to gain weight, you'll want to add more calories. And if you want to lose weight, you will want to add less calories. As Michelle pointed out in our group earlier this week, you don't want to take it below 500 because then your body goes into fight or flight mode and it holds on to everything because it thinks you might be dying. So even though you know you're not. So my number, for example, is 1900, and I've been trying to keep it around 1400 to 1500 because 3500 calories is 1 pound. So if I eat 3500 less calories, hypothetically, I should be losing a pound. I don't necessarily follow that, but I think there is some science and some biology behind it. So, um, tracking will be everything to your success or your failure in this challenge. If you don't commit to tracking day in, day out, the good, the bad, the ugly, the naughty, the, oh my God, what did I just do to myself? You will never learn how your body processes what you're putting into it. The fun thing about when you have those, I call them act days, those, ugh, what was I thinking? Is that if you're feeling crummy a day or two later, you can go back and look at that and say, okay, this did not make me feel good, or this caused me to have diarrhea, which we know from the Bristol stool chart is not a good thing. Diarrhea will cause you to dehydrate, and then it takes you a while to get back on track. So tracking is everything. Everything, 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 everything. If you don't track it, you're not going to be able to monitor how you're doing. And the whole point of the challenge is to challenge yourself to do the and then some. Maybe go out for another 15-minute walk in the evening, or maybe just walk around the house, or walk around your gardens, or just being in nature. I liked that they have the 15-minute challenge of being outside every day because it's very good for your mental health, your physical health, your psychological health. There's all sorts of research on going green with your self-esteem. I wrote a book on it, and I'm telling you, I have lived through it. I did a lot of healing outdoors, outside. Even if you have a foot injury like I had, or a broken foot like what Michelle had, um, you can sit outside and dig in a garden. You can sit outside and lift your knees up and march. I'm going to a chair yoga class at a senior center, and there are people in wheelchairs that are doing yoga with me. So it's all here, and it starts between here. It starts with your focus. It starts with your intention. That's why I always circle back to your word, because if you're in a funk, and we all go in those dark spaces, we all do. It's part of human nature. But when you're in that funk, if you go to your word, hot, my last challenge was motivation. My motivation is to look hot, to feel hot, to be hot, to just envision myself in a different body. When I was at the chair yoga today, I envisioned a thinner and healthier Melissa. And I think that's has a lot to do with your focus. Questions, comments?
I agree with what you've said.
It's a big deal. Some people have reached out to me and said, what do you do with your team calls? And we have a lot of structure that we're able to use, that Travis and Megan give to us, but I always want to customize it a little bit more for the audience that is us in our group and in our team. Like what works for a 30-something-year-old might not be so great for a 60-something-year-old. So I like to try to do things differently. And I think as we age, what I am very much noticing is that I'm losing strength and I'm losing flexibility. And so the chair yoga that I'm going to once a week is really helping me with balance, is helping me with my strength. I cannot believe how sore I am after sitting on my bucket for 35 minutes and then standing up for 25 minutes, doing very controlled movements. And now that it's summertime, if you are able to get into a pool and really push it, I jog in a pool. I could never jog on pavement. My joints would fall apart. But I jog in a pool and it feels really good because I'm not out of breath, because I'm in reasonably good shape in spite of the weight. And so being able to jog, jump, do jumping jacks like for real in a pool, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I just don't care anymore. It's like, it's good for me. And the water helped to support our joints. So if you're struggling with joint issues or arthritis or any of the things that we all struggle with as we get older, use that pool. And stand on one leg in the pool and put your hips out and move those hips around in the pool. You cannot believe how much extension that gives you in your hips. When you're walking, stand up tall and walk. Don't get lethargic, they call it. Stand up tall, because when you do that, it sucks your stomach in, and now you're engaging all sorts of muscles. So anyway, so I'll stop. I feel like I'm kind of soapboxing right now, and I don't mean to, but there's just so many different ways to challenge ourselves now that we don't have the cold weather, the snow, the ice, all of the things that we have sometimes in the winter time, and being out in fresh air is certainly going to be helpful to all of us. Questions? Comments? All right, ladies, I'm always here for you. I'm going to start posting some really fast throw and go recipes into our group, because I think it's important that, especially in the South, when it's just really gross out, that we're able to just kind of whip something up and it's healthy and it's filling. So I will post some of those things up, and you guys have a great week. Reach out to me if you have any questions or need anything at all. I'm always here for you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Bye-bye, guys.
lady.
Melissa. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.